Hey, what's up, bootstrappers? This is Ryan Nickel coming at you with another video here. So I'm gonna call this one it's gonna be a walkthrough Wednesday, and I'm gonna walk you through a deal that we did not get. Actually, you know what? I didn't even plan this, but we're gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna go by the house that I did not get. So I ended up missing my turn, and I'm going down the street here, and I'm like, it's actually close enough. So it was meant to be. All right, so this house here, I'll take you on by. Let me show you this house. It's been on my list for a number of years, and I've been mailing postcard after postcard after postcard to the owner of this property. And one day I saw a car parked in the driveway. I'm like, oh, finally somebody's here. Let's go talk to him. So I'm, turn around, go over to the house, and I gotta love that. I have a high performance car that has these hard brake pads, and no matter what I do to them, they squeak like crazy, especially when it was raining, and it had just rained recently. So anyway, if you can hear that, I apologize. I'll try to ease off on the brakes, but it's like meep, 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 meep. My kids know when I'm coming home. So anyway, this house was on my list, and I've been mailing postcards to them for probably a number of years. So like I said, I saw the car in the driveway. I rush over there, and no one's there. It's like it was a neighbor's car, and the neighbor goes, oh, we park it there sometimes just when we have guests, or just make sure like people think it's occupied or whatnot. So anyway, I was like, oh, okay, that sucks, but he's like, oh, I know who the owner is. He was just up here. He was cutting the lawn or something like that. So he gave me his phone number. So I called the guy up. He said he was interested in selling the house, and that was it. So let me go ahead and pull on over here. The house looks, you can see why his house was like on my list. And I'll give you the whole scoop on it. Let me turn this around. All right, you can see here. You can see the house. Oh, here's the neighbor. His name is Butch. So nice looking house. And we didn't end up getting this one. It was trashed on the inside. The roof is shot. It's leaking all over the place. So, that's that. So here I was talking away, thinking it was recording. When I flipped it around, I must have stopped the recording on accident. So, anyway, we go and we see the property with him, and we call him up, and he shows us the property. And the property was in bad shape. So the neighbor Butch told us about that there was a broken sewer line. The lady that lived there before was always once a month calling Roto-Rooter out there to come out and clean her line because of the roots and everything else. I mean, and that's very common for this type of age of home. 1930s, 1940s, what they use is something called Orangeburg, which is like a bunch of clay put together, or compressed cardboard, and that's what they use for the sewer lines. And after time, you can imagine, wood and cardboard, or wood and water just don't mix, and so that they would eventually collapse. And so we had a property just in that vicinity. Actually, I had two properties over there. One around the block, and then one just kind of down the street. But the one down the street had the sewer line collapse, and that's where we discovered that this whole area is just full of Orangeburg plumbing. And so I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what it was, or what it is with that home, though we didn't have it scoped. Walked in the house, hardwood floors, but the lady was a hoarder. Stuff was everywhere. She had cats. There was cat pee everywhere. You can still smell the odor. The guy, he inherited it from his sister. He said that his sister, in her last several years or months, I don't know exactly what the time frame was, but that she wasn't bathing at home. She was bathing at friends' homes or at hotels. And we went to the bathroom. We figured out why, because the bathroom had that paint, like almost like it's the old lead-based paint. It's just like curling off the walls. It's just like she had a hot steaming shower for 40 minutes every single day, and it just curled all that paint with no ventilation. Back room had a roof damage, and there was hardwood floors, and they were buckling because the water damage. So I mean, nothing to be scared of. This is just what we're seeing when we're walking through the house. And then the backyard has just wall-to-wall vegetation, just completely covering the entire backyard. Really bad. He said he got a quote, and I believe the quote. I really do. He said that it was going to be about $5,500 to just trim back all the vegetation and cut the grass and the ivy and the trees and everything. I mean, it was that's a lot of trimming. There was a lot of stuff there. In fact, it was kind of funny. He said there's a boat buried in the back, and you could barely see the boat tag all the way in the back of the yard because it's covered by so much stuff. So anyway, you know, I do a cost to sell with him. So I do this cost to sell worksheet with him. And, you know, prior to that on the phone, I was trying to, you know, gauge his motivation. And I think this is where I went wrong, as I didn't go deep enough. I usually do that, and I got lazy. I thought I had this one in the bag. I'm like, oh, no one else is calling this guy. You know, this is our home. We're gonna buy this one. And so he said, he's like, when I called him to make the appointment after Butch gave me the phone number, he goes, oh man, you called at the right time, Ryan. You know, it's all everything's about timing. And you know, I'm just about to make a mortgage payment, and I'm sick and tired of making this mortgage payment because I inherited it from my sister, and I want to sell it before the rainy season. So I got, okay, his motivation is he's tired of, you know, money out of his pocket every single month to make the mortgage payment. There was a small mortgage on the property. And so I had his motivation was he wanted more money in his pocket. And then two was his timing. He wanted to make sure that he got to it before the rainy season. So we met with him in September and walked through the property. And then I do this cost to sell worksheet. And this cost to sell worksheet breaks down basically all the costs that are associated with selling this property. Now, because I'm buying it without a real estate agent, and I'm buying it to wholesale it or to flip it, or hotel it, some of those costs still apply to me. So I got to make sure that I buy it right, and you know, don't get caught holding the bag, you know, having to write a check at the end of the day. So anyway, I give him my cost to sell worksheet. Like I said, it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house. It's 1,085 square feet. An average price per square foot at this time in September was between $225 and $230, all done up, you know, real nice. So, you know, it's potentially a $240,000 house when it's all said and done. With that said, though, we offered him 109. Could go up. I could have gone up more, but we wanted we're going to start it right there at 109. And he goes, look, I've never sold a house before. I've only bought one house, and it's the house I'm living in. And I don't intend on selling that house. My kids are going to have to sell it, meaning he's not going to do anything until he dies. So, he goes on to say that, you know, he has a friend that's in the real estate business. They've been friends since like grade school or something like that. And he just wanted her to read over the documentation and stuff like that, make sure that it was, you know, a legit offer, because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's kind of scared, nervous about it. And that's why he's held on to it as long as he had. So that's, you know, it's fair enough. So what happens then is, you know, a week goes by, then 2, and then 3. So I finally, you know, and I'm putting calls into the guy. And I don't hear from him. So I call him. I finally get a hold of him. He's like, hey, man, I haven't talked to my friend yet. She's been really, really busy. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. You know, we're busy too. It's, you know, people are buying a lot of houses right now. There's not a whole lot of inventory. A lot of agents are super busy. I get it. So he's like, I'm going to try to get her again, you know, but hang on, let me do this. So October rolls around, and I finally get a hold of him. And he's like, you know, just not going to do the deal. My friend says that she wouldn't do the deal. There's a lot of things that scared me, and I'm just not going to do it. You know, just I appreciate the offer, but just going to go with somebody else. And I was like, well, who are you going to go with? He's like, oh, I got these We Buy Houses guys. And when he came to show us the property, he had like a stack of postcards. And I'm like, I guarantee you I'm probably in there 40 times. I mean, this house has been on my list for a long time. I've been mailing them like every month. He's like, yeah, I got an unsolicited. He didn't say unsolicited. He goes, yeah, I got an offer for the house for 160, and that's a lot of money. That's a big difference between where you're at and where these guys are at. I'm like, that sounds fantastic. So you got an unsolicited offer, and they haven't seen the inside of the house yet, right? He's like, that's right. I'm like, okay, we'll probably be at the same ballpark then. And so he wanted to try calling those people. He tried calling them and calling them and calling them. They never called him back. So I let all of October pass, and then I hit him up in November. And in November, I was like, hey, man, how's it going? You know, we're still looking to buy a house here. You know, we're still looking to do some business. And at this point, I'm doing more chasing than I normally do, that I want to do. But it's become evident that I'm going to chase this guy now, and we're going to see what happens. This is why you don't chase people. Again, I'm going to share with you all the things that went wrong. So November comes around, and he's just not, things aren't progressing. So I increased my price. I increased it to 120 at that point. I'm like, look, man, things are going well for us. Market is coming up. And it had been, because we had just sold a house that was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,007 square feet. and we sold it, and it came back, and the appraised value of it was $265 a square foot. So I mean, this house here very easily now could be, you know, a 270, 280 square, you know, 200. Because of the neighborhood, it's probably going to be roughly the same. Maybe, you know, 270,000 is probably what it would go for. So it's, you know, it's increased $30,000. I mean, it's amazing what's happening with, there's just no inventory, what the prices are doing. So we feel confident that we're going to offer him 120 on the for the property, and it just falls on deaf ears. And so I reached back out to him again. I've written a book, Trouble Selling Your House. That's the book that I have. And so I send him the book, and I send him a letter. I was like, I apologize. I totally overlooked the fact that this was your first time ever selling a house, and it could be a little scary and whatnot. And let me just go ahead and give you this book, credibility packet, basically what it is, and then walking them through the step-by-step, everything that's going to happen from our title company, the way that we're going to, have the transaction roll, all the steps that need to happen, how easy and smooth and seamless it's going to be. I even had my title company closing agent reach out to him and let him know, like, hey, we work with Ryan and his partner. We do a lot of transactions every single month with these guys. They are on top of it. There's never been a problem or a hiccup. They always do what they say they're going to do, and you're in good hands, kind of thing. So I'm thinking for sure this is going to win this guy over, right? So anyway, nothing, no phone calls, nothing. So I was like, forget this one. So my partner, his wife is an agent as well. So she reaches out to him. She's like, hey, I have an interested party. They're looking at buying your house. Don't worry, there's going to be no commissions, because I make my money when they flip it. Then I sell it for them, and I get a higher commission, kind of thing. But they're interested in buying your house. Can I present you with the offer? And his response was, oh, thank you very much, but I already have one. We're closing escrow soon. And I was like, oh man, this guy got something else. So long story short, sure enough, he just closed escrow on the 31st. I haven't been able to look to see who owns that property quite just yet, because the county hasn't recorded that document yet. So I called him today, and guess what? He answered. And so I was like, hey, how you doing? Is that property still available? And he's like, actually, it's not. I'm glad to be done with it. And I'm like, oh man, well, congratulations. I'm happy for you. I can't buy them all. I would like to, but I can't. I just can't. I know it's, it's unrealistic to have that expectation, but congratulations. I know that was something you wanted to get done because of the payment and because of the rainy day. He's like, yeah, it's kind of hard for me to do. It was my sister's home. I didn't realize I was as emotionally attached to it as I was. And I'm like, missed that point. He talked about his sister and how much he was at odds with her because she was a hoarder. But, my partner made the connection. He's like, I bet you he's probably, cut from the same cloth, because he hoarded all of the postcards, one, and then he's kept all of her things in the house, two, and then he's just kind of holding on to this here. He's just holding on to this house. And, most people that go through that have a hoarding disorder, it's some kind of a emotional attachment disorder. They have a hard time severing ties, and so they want to hold on to everything that has an emotional value. I can understand that, especially something like a home that your sister had. So missed that opportunity. That was me. I could have connected deeper at that point, and I didn't. My grandmother was a hoarder. I know what that's like, but I just, I blew it over. It was all business for me, and not trying to be empathetic, not trying to be connecting to someone on an emotional level. I just wanted to connect on a financial level. Yeah, man, I'm gonna take care of your payments. Let's go. Let's sell this house. So I missed that opportunity. That was my fault. Hopefully you can learn from that. Second thing though was, so I was like in the conversation with him this morning. It's like, oh, congratulations, out of curiosity, how much did you sell the house for? He's like, $120,000, and I'm like, that's great. That's exactly what I offered you. And so my next question to him was, out of the spirit of wanting to be better, sometimes I realize I just dropped the ball. What happened here? I mean, because that $120,000 is exactly what we offered you, and obviously we didn't get the business. It went to someone else. Share with me something that, what was it exactly that turned you off from doing business with us, so that, next time we can do better. He's like, well, there won't be a next time, not because I don't like you guys, just because I don't have another house to sell. I'm not, the only house I'm going to have is when I'm dead. I'm like, I understand that, but for us, there will be a next time, what did we do wrong, kind of a thing. And this was his answer. It's like, I can't say anything particular that you did wrong, but, that first offer that you gave me when I had it reviewed by my real estate agent friend, she just said there's a lot of things in there that were shady and dishonest and that I could get into trouble for. And I'm like, okay. He's like, so anything that came after that, I just had to take a step back and my guard was up. I was already turned off against you guys because of that. And my guard was definitely against you because you would put something in a contract like that. I'm trying to think, I'm like, what did I put into a contract? Now, I didn't use a state contract. I didn't use a car contract, the California Association of Realtors contract. Didn't use that. But our contracts are, I mean, they're simple. They're in layman's terms, and I've been using them for years. So I'm like, okay. So don't know exactly who the agent was or how it worked out or if he paid her a commission. But he then says, I just decided that I was just going to go ahead and let her handle it. And I did. And she found me a buyer and we closed on it and all this stuff. And the buyers couldn't be happier. They're two little old ladies who met in flipping school and they're just flipping houses. And I'm like, okay, don't know what flipping school is. And I pretty much know everyone in my marketplace. So I'm like, who are these two little old ladies that are flipping houses in my market? Because this town is only 66,000. So I got outflanked by a realtor. I mean, it's not hard to outsell somebody when one, you're friends since grade school. So you can't go against that. And then two, you're a licensed professional and you already have the trust factor because you're friends with them. And now you add the credibility of the license, which my partner has, which is why we it's not one of the reasons why we partner, but it does help in the partnership because, I can defer to him like, hey, he's a licensed agent as well. He's not going to do anything unethical to affect his standing. So it wasn't too hard for her to outsell, us on that option. Like, oh, geez, I can't believe they're offering you this stuff. This is horrible. Let me take care of it for you. Again, I don't know if she got a commission. So that was one thing that, we lost out on that property. And then he said something else too. And I thought this was funny. He goes, not that this would keep me from doing business with you. It's so funny because whenever somebody says something like that, it's not X. They're telling you basically, yes, it is X. So, because why would you bring it up if it wasn't? So he says this, he said this wouldn't keep me from doing business with you, but I noticed on your website that you are a huge Trump supporter. It's just all over the fact that you just support Trump and support Trump and support Trump. And I'm thinking like, what website did he go to? And the only thing I can think of is my Facebook page. So I have a business profile page, and this is my bad. This is my not having a business website. Like I said, I have my book, Trouble Selling Your House that I mailed to him. I have troublesellingyourhouse.com, but it's not set up. It doesn't do anything. And I have bootstrap.com, but again, it goes to my training courses. That doesn't help anybody. But I have an investor Ryan Nickel page, and it has all the families that we've helped and their testimonials and all this thing, but I don't lead with that. And so learning opportunity from this is, as I'm walking you through this deal that we lost, is, you know what, I need to have a greater web presence that I can actually direct people to so that they don't go to my personal page, which is fine. They're going to see who I am. I'm not going to change my political candidacy. I'm not going to change my political affiliation and for who I support in order to get a deal. That's waste. That's just a waste of time and energy to try to flip flop and pander to somebody politically. That's okay. I am who I am. I support Trump, and so he this is funny though. He's like, yeah, you live up in Yuba County or in Yuba City, and they're very conservative. I live down in Sacramento, and I'm a liberal. You're a conservative, and we'll just leave it at that. But he didn't. He goes, and another thing, because on one of my messages that I left him, so the election happened, and then it started to be contested, and there was like, we don't know who the president is. And so today is January 5th. Tomorrow we're supposed to have the electoral college and all that stuff, so we'll see what happens there. But anyway, so I'm of the opinion that the election was that there were some shenanigans that happened and it wasn't all resolved. And this is early in December when I mentioned this to him. I said, hey, look, we'd like to make a decision now and not wait till the end of the year to buy this property from you. And this is on a voicemail that went unheeded. Obviously, he listened to it, but he didn't. He didn't call me. So I left this message saying, hey, there's a lot of uncertainty in the real estate market right now. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who the president is. It's being contested right now. And so he brought that up. He's like, and another thing, we all know who the president is. I don't know what planet you're on, but you think that some reason that, that Trump is still going to be the president, but that's not going to be the case. We know who the president is. His name is Joe Biden, and that's the end of the story. So, I wish you just a good day, and, thanks for calling. And that was kind of the end of the conversation. So I was like, oh, so, that's my fault. I tried to be strategic in this I also thought he was more conservative than he was too, and I wasn't paying attention to his affiliation. I mean, he's retired Navy, older gentleman, so I automatically assumed, you know what they say about that. I automatically assumed that he was on the more conservative leaning. So I thought, oh, this guy's probably, you know, a Trump supporter. Nope, not in the least. And I wanted that to play in, that uncertainty of what could happen with prices. Because again, I thought I was the only player that was competing for this property. Apparently I wasn't. And with that, I wanted to create some kind of uncertainty so that if I had to come down from that 120 back to my 109, I had justification. Like, hey, this election has been contested. There's a lot of upheaval right now. We can offer you that 109 and we can move forward and be okay. That 120, there's too much uncertainty. Well, all that 120 did was support someone else's offer and they got the deal. So I'm walking you through here. This is a real transaction. This is a real property that we missed out on, and things that I could have done differently. Don't know if I actually would have gotten this property in the end. If I, you know, regardless of me, you know, bringing up political affiliations or increasing the price or sending my book as credibility or anything like that. I think that when he had presented my deal or my offer with the cost to break the cost to sell worksheet and the actual physical offer to his realtor friend, it was done. At that point, she had sown enough seeds of doubt to put him at edge or on guard against anything that we would have done in the future. I don't know. It's not I don't believe that she did it maliciously. I think she had good intentions, that they're friends and she wanted to help him out. And she also, you know, again, whether she got a commission or not, I really don't care. She helped him out. He sold his property. I didn't get it. So moral of the story is, I could have done better digging into his real, you know, emotional pain and connection and things like that, and related in a more personal level rather than being all business, and you know, try to sell the credibility aspect of things prior to that agent in that situation. But anyway, that's what happened. That's how you lose a deal. And that's okay. We get other deals, but I figured this would be a good deal for me to walk through and show you guys, or tell you exactly, you know, areas that we could have improved on and areas that definitely we could have, you know, done better. So just remember, you are one deal away from changing your entire financial future. If you need any questions, if you want any help, you know where to reach us at. Go ahead and comment here below. Check us out on Bootstrap REI over on Facebook. We have a Facebook group there, and we're just here to serve you. And guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks.